Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart, Crazy Dee.
This is Like It Is Radio, Black Intelligent Talk Radio.
But the reality of Middle Cook is coming up. Sitting here in the podcast, he's working it all out. Just got finished. What a week we had. We appreciate. What was the guy who called me on the station? I said that told us about Fox. The Crazy Dee. His name Crazy Dee? I forgot his name.
Crazy Dee.
No, I was messing with you. Whatever his name was, I forgot the relate.
Let's say this real quick before we get started, because
we
have a lot to talk about today, but we're waiting for people to come in because we're under a new format. Listen,
new format.
Under a new situation. So if that new situation could just press all those people and say, come. Okay. But anyway, listen. We want to say that we are right now. You can see us on Like It Is Radio on Facebook, right?
Yeah,
share it there.
It's right here.
And then you can also see it on, of course, Franklyn G, Burley. And yeah, so you can see it on those pages. You can see it on Crazy Dion. You can see it on TBIC Actors page. You can see it on Crazy Dee's page, which is a whole nother page. LordlandFilms.com. You can see it on there. And so we wanted to tell you that. Okay, so where do we get started today? We did the brief introduction about what's happening. I guess that sponsored the show today. So we need to see $500 from me who cooked. I'm joking. Sponsorship. Okay. Sure. So now we have some recaps because we had to talk about, we had to come back and recap on last week because there was an open question last week. Yeah, it was an open question about black radio. And black radio always existing. Now, my point of view was it didn't always exist. Right. And your point of view was
black programs were on radio in the 20s when radio began.
No, I said black radio.
That's black radio.
When you say programming, no. See,
yes.
There we go. See,
that's black radio.
You sent me over about Mr. Cooper.
Early black radio.
That's right. That's right.
Who was he?
Wait now.
Early black radio.
No, that was not early black radio.
That's not.
He rented
black radio.
No, it wasn't always there. He rented.
Radio wasn't always here.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't always there. You said black radio. Black radio would mean that it is owned.
No, your interpretation. Black radio's not here then now.
I know because they stripped it away.
So
there's only 10 black-owned radio stations right now in America now.
Okay, so wait a minute. So what would you call, even though we didn't have the ownership of television, what would you call a black show like Amos and Andy? Wait, hear me. The one that aired on television that was ultimately pulled off television by the NAACP and other groups, but it was originally black television. Would you not call it black television?
No, I wouldn't. Because who wrote it?
I understand, but it was black television. That's what it was marketed as. That's why it's considered the first black television show, even though black people... The Cosby Show wasn't written by black people. You have Broussard and some other folks, but the writers are probably white. Yeah, he had input on the saying stuff like that, but under that auspices and under your ownership theory, that locks us out of a lot of history. Bro.
I mean, I think Cosby owned his shows, right?
No.
Cosby didn't own his shows?
No, if he owned
the Wayans brothers
not talking about nonsense.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The Wayans brothers didn't own In Living Color.
Right?
They didn't own it.
Right, but still a black show.
Bill Cosby.
Still a black show.
No,
that's my point. It's still a black show. It's still black television.
They developed it. They created it. It was from a black mind, thus making it a black show. But whoever owns it,
so you're saying that
it's ultimately their show.
So you're saying In Living Color was not a black show then? So there's never really
it was a black themed show aimed at black
I recognize all
people.
That, but I'm still not gonna be that narrow. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. That's where I would consider even if you rented the time, even if you were lent the time, if it was something that was even dictated or oriented towards black people, like Amos and Andy was, even with all degradation and signs and everything like that, the imaging that ultimately led to it not being on TV.
Yeah, 10 times 10 is 20.
But I 10 times 10 is 100.
100.
But I still say those are black shows. So what your point is,
you
they
see
didn't
there?
owe it.
You see there?
They didn't
He
own
automatically jumped right in.
If
He
they didn't
jumped
own
right
it,
in.
you say because we didn't own a television station without
No.
black
Listen
TV?
to what I'm saying.
Or black radio?
Listen, when shows are written by people, they hold ownership. Do they or don't they? I'm just asking. Let's get this premise down.
So black people don't own any shows.
They own it. That's
Very
not true.
few
I
shows.
believe that Cosby
Very few
owns
shows.
his show.
Well, if he
owns
owned his
show,
if he owns his show,
and he owned a
no,
different
probably
world.
He probably doesn't own it any longer because he sold it because somebody else must have ownership of these shows now. Because since his unfortunate demise and trials, they pulled those shows off.
They
Made
keep
some
pulling them
networks
off. They keep
on some networks. So if he had ownership, it would be different.
TV.
But my reality is, as historical, I believe historical fact. The gentleman I sent you information is given credit for having a radio program
called the Negro, the first one, the Negro Hour.
Okay.
Which I got into a large debate with a person who.
But it was a black show.
It was a black show, but not black radio.
But it was black radio. It was orientated towards black people, but
it
not
was a
black
black
men.
show on a white radio station.
But it was orientated towards people of color, delivered by a person of color. I'm not saying that he didn't have the greatest influence, but I'm expecting that. For me, that's enough to call that black radio.
See, the reason why the way that I think about it, coming from where I come from, is all I saw coming up were black people who owned things. Now the buildings could have been owned by Jewish people, but however, in the end, the Jewish people were selling the buildings to black people. Thus, my landlord was a black man, and I had a black business, and all black businesses along that storefront within a large storefront. So what I'm saying is, all I've seen is that coming up. So, and perfect example, because I did some research on WJMO and WBLS, which is the New York radio station.
Flagship station.
No, you're right.
Inner city broadcaster.
Now, come to find out,
at one time.
Come to find out now, WJMO used to be 1490, but now it's 1300, and WERE, which was the talk news station, which was a white talk news station, flipped over. However, in the 1960s, in the early 1960s, the WJMO moved into being a black-oriented format. But in 1970, there was a dispute about who worked there. So the Southern Leadership Council, the SCLC chapter, Christian, yes. They staged a sick out there, and so the ownership and all that changed over, and it became a black-owned radio station, and also a black-themed radio station. So when this is the type of struggle that I come from in Cleveland, Ohio, where people fight to own it all. And so when I say black radio, that's what I mean. And by the way, so let's take BLS, WBLS, 1972 Inner City Broadcasting, which is a black-owned company,
Percy Sutton
takes it over.
Right.
1972 to 1978, the Mutual Black Network, which
Right.
turned into the now American Urban Radio Network.
Right.
Took it over, but it was not always a black radio station. Before that, it was Hispanic themed.
Right.
So what I'm saying is there was not always black
radio. So
radio.
you don't consider that black radio just because they didn't own it? I'm just asking you to the point. Yes or no?
I don't believe. I don't
Yes or
consider
no?
it. I consider it black themed programming on a station that is owned by someone else who is there to get the ultimate amount of money for the advertising dollar.
That's not a black or white thing. That's just capitalist business thing. So under that small narrow parameter that you want to exist under, and I'm just giving you this historically. That parameter you're looking at, that's your paradigm. That the ownership, in order for it to have been progressively black, is going to be owned by black, dictated towards black.
Because
I understand.
Other than that, it can be taken away from you at any time.
All right, understood. So even these black companies that you said even changed hands. I'm not going to limit my space to ownership, and as conceptual as history is when it comes to being black. If a black person was the first person to have that type of programming, win a race that Jesse Owens has done, whatever it is that African Americans were able to have under somebody else's auspices, leadership, financing, or however you want to call it, I still don't take away from the effort of those black people. Because historically, like I said, the guy we can talk about, he programmed something, he was able to get it on the air, which you know even today is a Herculean effort, Herculean task. You got to put hard work into it. So, given the circumstances that we have now, I can imagine what it was like back then to have a full hour of radio programming that a black man gets to do whatever limited, narrow scope that he could do. And I'm sure it wasn't about news. It wasn't like Don Lemon that we have now an hour of, or even you and I.
Actually,
This
it was
guy,
news.
well, news, but I'm sure it wasn't the news like this news. He couldn't go on, and I'm sure at that time he was on originally connecting America to the good news in America. He wasn't talking about the ongoing lynchings. He may have mentioned Marcus Garvey if he had a chance, but I'm sure that the program would have been limited and dictated to what the adverse circumstances of being fiery, if you will, for lack of a better term, or seeming more than progressive in the 20s. So I wouldn't want to limit myself and just to say you gotta own it to have it, because if you look at that, we didn't have anything. When Michael Jackson came on TV, Ed Sullivan, no black people, but it was a big thing. James Brown or any of them, even Elvis, give him Elvis. They didn't own the media, but they were historical. They were historical for whatever it was.
But James Brown went on to own radio.
A few radio stations, not disputing that. He understood what the power of being able to play his music was. I respect
Stevie
all that.
Wonder
So you're saying that, but
owns radio stations.
I understand, but I'm just saying that those are a few. So by limiting your scope to just ownership, by just limiting it to just the African American product that is just owned and distributed or marketed, whatever, by black people, that's such a small scope, Ron. I'm going to do that. Not under the adverse circumstances that historically is hard to do. This guy got an hour of programming orientated towards black people for whatever reason. If he was able to accomplish it, I'm gonna call that black radio. The same way they had to call Tiger the first black champion of this or that. The same way they called Althea Gibson the first African American woman for tennis. Whatever it is, if you're doing it under those circumstances and you're the first and you're black,
she's the first to do it, but she didn't own tennis.
so but she's still so.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm not, but she was the first tennis great.
She's the first tennis great. But we're talking about first, and we're talking about when we say black radio, we're talking
That's the limited
ownership.
You are.
No.
I'm limited. You are. I'm not.
Because
That's limiting
it can be taken away from you anytime. And I will argue this point, that I believe that it is just as hard now to own something that is totally black owned now as it was back then in the 1920s.
No.
The only difference
Racism is more overt now.
The
Financing is the problem now.
Well, if it's institutionalized racism, it's still the same thing.
Yeah, but you could have got the financing from the black community, back in the day.
1920. Only difference is inflation and the cost. But if you look at the relativity of what people were making then, what they make now, what something cost then, what costs now, probably due to inflation and rising of money, of hourly wage or whatnot, is probably exactly the same.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Exactly
I'm taking economics classes. That's simple facts. Because what happens is if they equate $20,000 to what it is now, its equivalency is way more. Even though the cost of labor is more, the cost of living is more, everything is more. Inflation is a part of it, but what I'm willing to submit to you, in the black community in the 20s, you could have raised $20,000 easier than you could raise $20,000 now because we were connected better. It may not have come in lumps, but it would have come in a large way. It's the same way Marcus Garvey's movement.
If it were easy to raise $20,000, let's say that inflation makes it. Let's just in 70s. Let's just say it made it $200,000. If it was $20,000 then, if it was easy to raise then, it would have been done, and Mr. Cooper would have had his own building his own signal,
Yeah,
his own everything.
That's limited.
So no, I'm just saying.
So you're right. You're right. So
Truth,
by your definition, how many black radios? What is black radio? Only if we own it. So where does that happen? Where does that fall into the paradigm of America?
It's only 10 black-owned radio stations
So you're saying
right
10.
now in America.
So wait a minute. So of the 10 that you're saying, there's only 10 black-owned radios. Everything else is white.
Everything else can be taken away. It is black.
The black radio stations can be taken away.
It is black themed radio.
That's limited.
It is aimed at black people, but black people
so only black 10
do not own it. And if a topic comes up that people don't like, they can come in and say, we don't like that. We're gonna pull the plug. Now it could be lawsuits and sue and all that, but it's still
that's limited. Limited. So you
can a person who owns a radio station come in one day and say we're gonna change the format of the station? Do they
that
do
happens
that?
every day.
They do that, so they can come in and
so
tell
that doesn't make it black. So that's what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying it doesn't because the black person would. Perfect example. The guy came to Cleveland and started Channel 61. He was a black man. Black man. He decided to play stuff like Animal House and stuff. He made it more diverse. Then one day he decided after 20 years in to jump in on the Hispanic way and changed it totally to a Hispanic station. Everything that was on there that people enjoyed gone. A person can come in if they don't like what you say.
So you're saying there's only 10
so
black radios?
That's what you're limited to. Our whole purpose here is to make sure that what we have is black owned, black sustained, and will not be taken away from us.
Taken away from black people.
Just because not
Bob
only
Johnson sold BT.
Not
Bob Johnson sold BT.
And what did Bob Johnson say? Bob Johnson
BT.
said that when he owned it, he couldn't get the same advertising dollar that the white concerns could get for the same
So BT was
thing.
nothing. So BT's nothing now.
They squeezed him out.
So BT's nothing now.
They squeezed him out.
That's you.
They squeezed him out, and now, but okay, is BET black television?
Black people wanted to have black programming. Black people are watching it.
But you say it's.
I'm not going to limit your scope. That's how you want to limit your scope.
But you just made my point.
No, I didn't make your point.
He sold it, now BET
so what your point
nothing.
was, no. I never said
that. Is that what you said?
No, I didn't say it was nothing. That's your implication.
No, that's what you said.
I said BET was sold. No, I said Bob Johnson sold BET.
And now it's nothing.
No, I never said that.
Now
I never said that.
Is nothing.
No, I never said that. Never said that.
Because you spoke on BET yesterday. Because you spoke on BET before and you said that it's producing what type of programming.
See, what happens is...
Right?
Your concept is your concept. You can own that. I'm not going to limit. As I said, I'm not going to. You keep saying okay. I'm not limiting my scope.
So we're going to move on that. We're going to agree to disagree on what definitions of black radio.
That's right.
What I say is you own it.
No.
You program it. You put it across, and hopefully the community can see the value in it, and then thus support it and come in, become members. Do all that because it is black owned and operated. Why is it stuck somewhere?
Let me give you the reality.
What are we gonna own? What are we gonna own if we don't own? If we don't own our music?
I'll answer you. Same way we don't own our music, but the music is still good. So I'm not gonna take away from people like with great shows like Flip Wilson, like Nat King Cole, like the guy we was talking about. Oh, just media head.
No.
Hear me. I listen to your time tribe. Wait.
Wait. Flip Wilson owned his show.
Wait.
Let's go back in.
Right.
Flip Wilson owned his show. It was on a program, but he owned the writing, the publishing, the copyright, the license, and so that is a black owned show
on a white network. Wait. White network. White network. Stop. White network. White network. There you go. You said it was shown on a white network. So wait.
But
shown on a white network.
But no. We're talking about the examples.
No. So that was
Amos and Andy.
That's not a black.
I said who wrote Amos and Andy.
That's not a black
Amos
show.
and Andy were not. It was not written by black. They were stereotypical. That's why NAACP came in to take it off. It wasn't.
So you don't
black owned.
Let's move on.
It wasn't black owned.
I'll let you finish.
Written, operated, nothing.
I'll let you finish.
Right?
The bottom line is that limited scope.
If
that's your limited scope, that's how you see it. I'm not gonna limit my scope like that.
Okay. Number 2. Number 2,
got
just
notes.
recapping before we get
Oh, you still got the notes.
the new stuff.
Ha!
Yeah, we got notes. Because we said we were going to
No,
recap. We said we were going to recap,
Well,
right?
yeah, you recap,
so I want to make
All right,
sure
it's
we
20
stay
minutes.
true to the people.
All right.
Right?
True to the people.
Then
Next.
Blackkklansman. There was an assertion made
Oh,
that
here we go.
Blackkklansman did not make any money. And that's not true. Now, just looking at what the box office, it cost $15 million to make. It made $27.4 million gross in the box office. Now, there's this Crazy Rich Asian movie. It cost $30 million to make. It only grossed $35 million as of box office as of the weekend. So, but they're proclaiming it to be just taking over the box office. It's the greatest thing since cooked grits. It cost $30 million to make, and it only made $5 million. Spike Lee only made, it cost $15 million. He made $27.4 million. That well exceeds, and that's in limited theaters across the country. They distributed the Crazy Rich Asians all over. They gave him limited theaters, and he's already went over and made over what it cost to make the film already. Almost 13 million more over what it cost to make. So that is a success all the way around the board. It's just that the media always pumps to, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but the media is owned by European Americans.
It's not black media.
And European American media advertisement will push something to you that is totally not true, and that's not true. Spike Lee is well exceeding what.
It's not exceeding.
It's exceeding its expectations.
No, it isn't.
It's more. Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
They already said it. Even he said it. It's exceeding what he thought it would do.
Right.
15 million, 27.4 million. That's a success. That's a success.
Not by Hollywood standards.
No, yeah, well, neither is
I know,
Crazy Hollywood Asians.
I'm not
They only made
disputing.
$5 million, but they saying it's the greatest thing since
I don't know
since
that.
we learned how to cook hominy grits.
Come on.
And so that's all I'm saying. So we cannot be blinded by the propaganda that the system has put up. Now we're getting ready to have a review on that movie on the next the film review, movies, music, culture, and whatever else comes to mind. We're gonna be reviewing the movie about the Happy Time murders. Cause we saw that shit, but oh god, I gotta edit that out now. I gotta edit that out, but I mean that's just a reaction to it. Incredible. But anyway, we will be giving that review shortly. So stay tuned for that. However,
tell them what the Happy Time Murders is. Come on, man. You've been going to see these movies now that aren't regularly, 89106 movies now.
It's the Muppets.
It's the what?
It's the Muppets.
It's the what?
It's basically the
It's
Muppets.
just the guy that was
and we're gonna get in.
ain't nothing black about the Muppets. They do have a black
We're gonna talk
Muppet.
about that. We're gonna talk
Alright,
about that. We're gonna talk about that.
The last movie. What's the movie before that?
But it doesn't matter what it was before.
Super white
before
woman.
that was the Meg.
Right,
The
Super
Meg.
Shark.
But wait a minute now.
And then
From your perspective, from what you told me, aren't we part of America? Aren't we able
part of the shark
to enjoy?
world. Not part of the
Aren't we
shark
able
world.
to enjoy what other Americans? Don't we have the right as Black Americans to enjoy what other
Nobody enjoys
Americans,
sharks.
other European Americans, other
Right, yeah,
Asian
yeah.
Americans, all that? Don't we have the right to enjoy what they enjoy?
You enjoy
Which
Shark.
gets us to
You watch Shark?
Omarosa.
You watch Shark?
Omarosa.
Now that's a shark.
Marigold
Now that's a shark.
Newman. Her new name is Newman, right?
Her new name is I Gotcha.
Okay. So, doesn't she have the right to enjoy causing, revealing and unearthing scandal that she was a part of? Doesn't she have a right to do that as a great Black American in this country? Does she have a right?
And I will tell you, don't get me wrong, you gotta hear her story. Yes. Story is available. You can hear it. She even wrote it, and now you can hear her. It's on Books on Voice. What they got? Tapes on Books? Books on Tapes? Whatever it is. She tells her own story. So you got to hear it. And what happens is, as I submitted before, finally somebody with chutzpah and nuts is going to get in the game and challenge the man because he's going nowhere. The bottom line is, as I predicted before, he will win in 4. They can't indict the president on anything as long as he's a standing president. So that's the way to keep him. And what she's doing and trying to expose and keeping the book going, she can't really come back here, but it's an interesting listen. And I'll be honest, it's the same thing that you knew. It's the spook who sat by the door. Maybe she's telling us some things we already knew that were unflattering. She's doing it for the book, but she ain't done. I'm pulled for Omarosa. She's been around 15 years, y'all. 15 years you know this individual from being a heel, being an individual.
And it comes to find out.
Comes to find out.
It comes to find out.
What the hell is that coming with that?
It comes to find out. I mean, I just kick it. It comes to find out that she was part of Al Sharpton's women. Now
I know.
She was part of it, and comes to find out.
Comes to find out
That she was part of it, and
part of what?
Maybe she wasn't his National Action Network.
That she was a member.
She was a member. She was an active member. She was up in the hierarchy. She was doing things in California and LA. She was doing things as being a person who was in leadership in the LA chapter.
I don't know that.
She was doing things. She
Al
Sharpton interviewed her. She was integral within the organization.
So?
No, she was there. She was speaking with. He talked to her on the.
I know the Saturday
right.
But that's not bad.
So
what I'm saying is,
what are you come to find out? My thing is, everyone now, because she has come for Trump, is now handling her with kid gloves. But before the people were acting like she was the scourge. She was the plague.
No,
she was the bubonic plague. And they were against her. And now that she does this little bit, and what so happens?
What bit? No, you're not.
And what so happens?
You're just throwing stuff out
there.
What
so happens if she? I flip the language. What so happens if she? What so happens if she? All of a sudden, this is a zeitgeist. And she just decides.
What is that? What is that?
She's going
every week
to,
with these zeitgeists. What is that?
Listen. I want the people to look it up. They tell me I'm using it correctly, so
nonsense.
Y'all look it up. So if she's a zeitgeist, it's actually zeitgeist, not zeitgeist, but
I got
zeitgeist.
the CD of it. I saw it come out.
Okay, listen.
Not
that movie, because zeitgeist was a word before that full of conspiracy theory DVD came out. Okay, it was always a word before, and so it's not as sinister as they make the word to be in this documentary. Okay, go ahead.
Back to Omarosa.
Omarosa,
because every now and then it's nice to have an individual, even though it may be late in the game, who will confirm and assuage some of the things that you may have suspected about an individual. As her come out 15 years with this man and have an intimate knowledge of some of the peripheral stuff. She said, they even reported to us earlier that her job, she went in and she riled the guy up. She made him, she brought him news clippings and things that he wasn't, aware of, and pointed him in directions after they had calmed him down. If she had used her powers for good, we wouldn't have the story we have now. Right? If she had helped the people with the real information Donald Trump would have needed to make valid decisions to improve this country, and again, Terry, to make America great. And she wrote this book, we wouldn't want to hear her.
What she's talking is nonsense.
No, she's confirming facts that you knew. It's not nonsense.
The reason why it's nonsense is because we already know it already.
You didn't know that. You suspected it.
No. Well, everyone knows from previous
Did you
examples.
See Pookie You didn't see Pookie take the TV, but you knew Pookie
Wait a minute. Previous examples of Donald Trump being racist from the past all the way up to before he walked to the presidency.
True.
We know this already. So
not other people.
No. who are we trying to prove it to? Because the people who some of us, not some, I won't say we, some of us are trying to convince and say, look, he's racist. They don't care because they like what his agenda is. So who are we trying to convince there? So what she's doing is nonsense. Meanwhile, in Chicago, a few stories were coming out, like the 15-year-old who was shot in the back of the head, long distance from the cop. They were outside dancing, having a good time. It was kind of like
are these facts?
This is true. This is actual news reports.
Because you gotta have some facts.
No, this is actual news reports. They can go research this. Why this was going on? The national news didn't cover it. They shot the little kid in the back of the head through the window as he was retreating from them, and then said the kid committed suicide on his own. Also, what dropped at the time while this zeitgeist was going on with her was that the police were setting up dummy trucks. I call them dummy trucks, but they had dummy trucks and they had Nike tennis shoes in them, and they would just park there and they were unlocked. And if anyone just went to just lift it up,
why you lifting it up?
They'd be sitting there. Wait a minute now, wait.
Why you lifting the truck?
It still would be considered in trouble. You lift it up and you look at it. You don't even have to do anything. They're coming down on you. Now, wait a minute.
That's crime.
Women. So
that's
what?
Crime.
Women.
That's crime.
So what the activists did was they pulled out their camera phones, filmed it, told about it, and told people to stop going to these trucks because it's a setup.
Shouldn't be doing that anyway. That's okay. In New York,
and meanwhile,
that's a setup, and that's for criminals, and they should get caught because he's doing something in New York. Guy acts drunk in the train, falls down, his wallet falls out. You pick up the wallet, you get arrested for robbery. Hey, be honest, be upright.
Women,
why are you going to the truck?
Women, you pick up the wallet, but what if you were picking up the wallet to pick him up to hand it back to him? As soon as you pick it up, it's entrapment. It
is entrapment. I'm not going to dispute it, but at the same time, if you're weak of mind, if you're weak of mind, and criminal-minded, I do respect.
So now they're criminal-minded.
They are, yeah, because
so why is the truck sitting out?
Why would I open somebody else's possession?
It can have a bomb.
Why would I open somebody else's
possession?
possession?
Out there? What's in it?
That's bringing us down, man. You got to see me on that.
Also,
you got to see me on that. If you do something wrong, which is going into somebody else's property, if the truck is not yours, you have not parked it, you have no reasonable concern with it, whether you see it has a lock on it or not, you are not supposed to touch other people's stuff. And that's just human. So don't get me wrong, I realize it is entrapment based on the law set up. Somebody are down in their luck, they didn't have a file, but if you touch other people's things, which is real, Crazy Dee, I have some things, you have some things. I lived in an oppressed community. Hey, I know guys who did crime. If you're opening somebody else's car door, if you're taking change out their thing, if you're doing anything to property that is not yours, that is a violation not just of morality and everything, whether you're entrapped or not. If Frank walks past the car and the car door's open and the radio's on and the keys are in it and the car's running, Frank's walking past that car.
Okay.
And I recognize that if you're not smart enough to know that that's a setup, living in the inner city for the spectacular moment of joyriding at a certain age, you gotta know that's a setup. And if you don't, and I'm from the hood, if you're 14, 15 years old, and you don't know that that's a setup, then you deserve to get locked up. Because you gotta know. Okay. You gotta have some common sense.
One, is it fair?
Yes.
That they are targeting the black community?
No, I think I don't know. Okay, I'm not saying it's not fair. What happens is, I believe if they do it in the open space of a city, as Metropolitan New York Police, when they did those kind of things in terms of the drunk guy or dropping a wallet or whatever it was to the young black kids who would rob them for their watch or their phone or whatever that is, in a public place, it could be a black person or a white person. If they're doing it generically, specifically in the black community, that's probably wrong.
Okay, so taking your theory on it and saying that
everybody's on the MTA.
Take things that if it's just sitting there, right?
Right. Facts.
So the blackout, blackout in New York, 76,
nothing but the facts. That was a beautiful wild night.
That was the blackout 76, right?
The wild night.
Right. Wait a minute. It was a blackout of 76, right?
It was a blackout. It was July. It was hot. It was my mother's birthday.
Right.
Beautiful.
It was your birthday?
It was my mother's birthday.
Your mother's birthday.
July 14th. We had just July 13th, 14th. We had just finished having dinner in a Chinese restaurant. It was about 7 o'clock. It was 107 degrees. It was a hot, humid day. But in any event, we had just finished. We were walking down the block, and Literally, I just come out the restaurant. Link farm.
Was it dark outside?
No, it was just dusk.
Like,
It was
just
dusking.
dusk.
It's getting
Just
dusk.
Okay.
We walked my mother home,
Uh-huh.
and we had just paid for dinner. As I said, we were walking, and all of a sudden, the lights, because it wasn't really dark yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the lights, you could tell the businesses and stuff. We really just left the restaurant. We were maybe like a block away. You could just know something was happening.
How old were you then?
Oh man, so 15, 16?
Uh-huh.
16?
16.
Maybe go to school. I don't remember. In any event, the lights went out. So anyway, we continued to walk home. You could see the stores and people like, what's going on? The usual. We got my mom's phone. Just we were getting home because my grandfather was still alive. My mother said, we gotta go check on grandpa. We realized that we had walked a few more blocks that this was kind of
Strange.
It was strange. We walked from 140 back to 147 to my grandfather, checked on him, had to walk up steps. There was like when we checked on him, still no electricity. Now it's nighttime. And we were at 147. Then we were like, okay, grandpa, allow me to stay here. So the city started to kind of erupt.
Mm-hmm.
At least the Harlem environment that I was in began to erupt.
Okay. So let's. It was a blackout all over the city.
The whole city, all five
Bronx,
boroughs.
all five boroughs.
Right.
Okay. So taking your premise of it, and out here in Chicago, they're doing dummy trucks.
Right.
For the dummies.
Keep going.
Because you said they're dummies.
Yeah,
Now,
dummies, right.
Now, just by what they reported on The Get Down, which was a Netflix show that had 2 seasons, you should go watch it.
It was all
They
right.
introduced
It was all
Splash and all that.
By
what
Flash,
they
but before
say-
Flash, it's about Big Hurt. Come
They
on.
introduced Flash to a new generation. Let me
Hurt.
say because
Right, then I know.
and Cool Hurt, okay?
Cool Hurt. That's Big Hurt, all of them.
Okay.
And Tacky, who was a graffiti guy. That was all the same time.
Right. And so what they're saying is that somehow these stores that were already closed
Right.
had the rolling steel or the
Right.
chain links
Right,
across them.
right.
Somehow they got broke into,
They got
and
broke
then
into.
all of this audio equipment
Lots of
left,
stores.
and then overnight,
Right.
hip hop really began to be formed
I don't know about all that.
because
That's not
now wait a minute now. Hip hop because only certain people had turntables, but then everybody had all these crews sprung up. Is that true or is that right or wrong? I mean, I'm just going by what they say.
I know what you're saying.
in the
and
show.
I-
Is that right or
answer.
wrong?
That's wrong.
Is that right or
That's
wrong? But okay, premise.
That's TV.
Okay, that's TV, but
I'm gonna confess to you that after the blackout, some stores were robbed,
Mhm.
and I use that term viciously, robbed, due to the lack of electricity and security guards
Uh-huh.
and security in general.
But the
Gates
stores were closed. Stores were closed.
It was a blackout. It was looting.
They were looting.
They were looting, no doubt.
Looting.
The community looted at large many stores. Many stores.
Many stores.
Many stores.
Audio equipment
not
stores
that's a smaller
included.
thing. Look at it. So it was a smaller part. They looted people's clothes, dry cleaners, businesses lost out, and people were hurt. So let's be real there. What you're trying to say is that after that, some turntables popped up in other places. Yeah, that's cool because they were black market and sold. But hip hop had already been flourishing. That's just something to
No, wait.
That's just something that TV gave you. That's not factual. It's not based on fact. So you mean every rap artist had a turntable after that? No. Nah. No.
These different crews sprung up around the city. Though.
They were already
around
there.
different
They were already
boroughs,
there.
right?
Nah.
I mean, isn't that how the story was told?
No, that's your story.
Okay, so that's not my story. I'm telling you what.
And I'm telling you that's TV.
But who executive?
Come on.
Who was
Here
an
we go.
executive
Here we
on
go.
the show? But your friend.
My friend. Who my friend?
Who wasn't an executive
Who's
on
my
the
friend?
show?
Who's my friend?
Curtis Blow. Was he not an executive on the show? He said that he
So
executive
wait a minute.
on the
Wait a
show.
minute.
Wasn't
Does that
it
mean
not?
he's the writer of the show?
Was
All
Nas
that-
on the show?
Wait. He's not a writer on the show. Executive producer puts the show together, as you know, because you've been in. He has no control.
Would?
No, come on, man.
Would
I'm not even going there. with
would
you. If that's what you
someone
want to
like
put,
Nas
here
or
we
Curtis
go.
Blow get
Yes.
involved in something
Yes.
that would lie
Yes.
about what
See, now
happened
here we go.
in those boroughs?
See, you stretch
Would
the
they
word.
or would they not?
You stretch the word
I'm
lie.
not asking you.
I
Would
didn't say
they?
lie.
Would they
That's
not?
your word. You're using the word lie.
Would they
I'm not,
lie?
I'm not
Okay.
answering any question like that.
Okay, exactly.
No, because
That's
you're
what I'm
stretching
saying.
it.
So
You're stretching
what you're
it. I
saying
didn't say
is
they lied.
they should know better for going
That's
into
your-
this
see, here we
truck
go.
to get this Nike, but here's his people, and then all of a
So what
sudden
are you saying?
a whole
What's the
genre of
correlation?
music is
So you're saying without the
fully
blackout,
4 minute and burn. Without the blackout,
there'd be no hip hop. Come on with that, man. That's
Come
nonsense.
on now.
That's nonsense, man.
Really?
That's not. Yeah. Nonsense.
Really?
Yes.
nonsense.
Yes.
Nonsense.
Yes.
Nonsense.
Yes. Say it again.
Nonsense.
Say it again.
That's what you're saying?
Nonsense.
I mean, is that what you're saying?
You're trying to get me to go-
I'm
telling
using
you.
your
I'm
premise
agreeing.
as far as what's
I'm agreeing
happening in
with you.
Chicago. How come
How
come just like Republicans,
Oh boy, here we go.
just
We
like
way out now.
just like
wow.
Republicans,
This is what happens. We can
one
go like an hour.
side you can say where it's criminality, but on the other side where it's something that is something that you like, you're not going to say that it was criminality.
You didn't make any point on it. What's the
I
point?
just did.
What's the,
I just said by your aspect, they deserved to be
Yes.
arrested.
You're saying that
both
they-
sides,
So you're saying that,
both ends.
Let me ask you this. This is what you're saying. That because these people are robbing stuff in Chicago, you're trying to make a hip hop analogy? That
No, I'm giving you an example.
Let me
Go
finish.
ahead.
I'm giving you the same example. And then you gotta think this, man. Be real with this, man.
No, I'm giving you.
No, let me
I'm
finish.
giving you.
No.
Dummy truck
Right.
is
And
to
you're relating that to
opening
him.
it to
Right, which is
blackout
And
in
which
New
is-
York
Which was also
City,
wrong.
Which is
also
looting.
wrong.
So then,
Which
if
is
the
also
Chicago
wrong.
people deserve to
I'm
go
not-
to
you-
prison,
that's
then
right.
the people
No,
who
you're
were
saying that.
looting. And
No,
I'm
that's what you're
asking
saying.
you.
No,
I'm
no.
asking you because
And
it's
I'm-
the same.
I'm-
It's
let
not
me
apples
finish.
and oranges. It's apples
It
and
is.
apples.
It is.
Oranges
You're
and
wrong. You're way
oranges.
out. Let
It's
me
the
finish.
same. Come on.
Let me finish then.
Okay.
And I'm serious. You gotta think this out.
Yeah, let's think it out because I expand out.
No.
I
You're working from
extrapolate
a
out
different place. No.
and work it out.
No. You're imploding.
Because
You're imploding.
what I say is,
We know what you
if
said.
if you're leaving something there,
Oh my God.
no one knows
No
what's
one's
happening.
no
So
one's-
either way, you're in a impoverished situation.
No, I got to do it.
You're being, yeah, it is. And
You're
they're
making an
putting
excuse for the victim of the black. The bottom line is you're trying to equate Negroes who are stealing in both cases.
both cases.
Both cases.
They
Stealing.
steal.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Okay.
They both were thieves.
Thieves.
That's right. They stole somebody else's property
And do they
for self-ill-gotten gains. And
Right.
you're saying that hip-hop.
No, wait,
This is
no,
what you're saying.
no, wait,
You're relating the
no.
blackout.
Stop right there for a minute. Stop right there for a minute.
Go with it, man.
Do you say ill-gotten games?
Right.
Do the people who looted either way?
Either way, loot is a
Do
loot.
they
They're wrong. They're wrong.
deserve to prosper
No.
and get over
No.
from what?
No.
Okay,
No.
we can move on.
No.
We can move on then.
No.
We can move on to another subject.
No. Because
No,
if, you do
let's
something,
move on to-
if you're doing something wrong,
Okay.
if you stole something from somebody else,
Okay.
you should not have any profit from that.
You
And the
should
fact
have
that
no
you would try to equate hip hop to a night of looting which destroyed New York City and the black community, that there was enough turntables that they stole that make hip hop flourish in the Bronx, that's bullshit. I'm gonna tell you, as a person who was there in New York, and I'll be honest, I wasn't proud of what had some of the stuff we done, but the people who stole stuff, the next day the city was out. And no matter what you stole, even if you did sell it, because I know people who did steal stuff, they robbed the jewelry store, they robbed Ziggy's at the top of my hill, they robbed the little, they robbed a lot of stuff. These were organized people who, yes, didn't have a chance, who ripped off steel gates off the different stores. It was an ugly scene, and the city suffered for it, and the businesses suffered for it. Because Ziggy's, that I used to buy my sneakers from, that the brothers looted stuff from, was gone now. I bought my first corduroys up in there. I bought my first Converses up in there, $9.99, which was a lot of money because I had to get Pier Flyers and all. These stores that we went in, even the Buy Right liquor store that used to be able to sell liquor to us as kids, was gone. Even Singer, where my grandmother had her sewing machine, was going. Let me finish.
Selling alcohol to you underage? They deserve to be gone, right?
Bottom line is, these were all the things that could happen if somebody said, hey, go to the store, you went to the store. The bottom line is, you're trying to take away from what I'm giving you. But what I'm saying is, the fact that they would even put that in a movie, they're making a fictitious amount, because you have to think, how many crews sprang out of that at that time? Being in New York, maybe if you wanted to be generous in all 5 boroughs, you could get 10 crews. Just because they stole turntables and other electronic equipment, as we used to do in the early days of rap, set it up outside, steal the electricity from the lampposts. The reality is, after the blackout, there were not a lot of crews popping up. I'm submitting to you, even though you gave those 2 names of executive producing this, that's co-writing. They have to satisfy a bigger demographic, as you well know. They're going to add some embellishment and personal instances to the story to make it sell. So you know that. And to challenge Curtis Blow,
embellishment.
Yes.
Embellishment to make
Yes.
itself. So
Yes.
thus and so,
Yes.
they have told a mistruth.
Yes.
By what you're saying.
Yes.
They have told a mistruth.
Yes.
Which is a
misconception.
mistruth. A mistruth is a
Move
what?
on. See, this guy, you're trying
That's
to.
what I'm saying. A
You're
mistruth
talking about
is a
historical
what?
people,
Which
and
is
you
an
want
example,
to
which
try to get
is
some
the
word
example
out.
of if they were
Let's
not
move on.
black writers writing it,
Let's move
then
on.
we need black writers
But
to
it didn't
tell
come on a black channel, so it's still not a
the
black
truth.
story. No, and black people could write stories just like let's change right now on a dime on you because you can't go in there with this lack of logic that you're having because
That is logic.
it was not logic.
You just said
No,
that
you-
either one's looting did
We're
not
wrong.
deserve
That's
to
right.
profit
Right.
from off of it.
Right, that's called crime, man. You don't think
They
that's
don't
crime?
deserve to
You don't think
profit
that's
off
crime?
of it.
No, you don't think
Do
that's
you?
crime?
They don't deserve to profit off of it.
No, you think that's crime?
Do you? Okay, wait a minute.
I know
let's
that's
pause,
crime.
let's extrapolate it out because
No,
all
no,
I'm
you
doing is
extrapolate. You're
all
not.
I'm
You're
having is a
predicting it.
discussion.
You're not. You're-
No. I am. Let's go further. Let's go further.
Crime.
Rob from the rich
No. Crime.
and give to the poor.
Crime.
It's still crime,
Crime.
right?
Crime. Go
Still
with
crime.
it. Crime.
So you're making a point that
Crime
it didn't
is wrong.
matter either way.
No,
crime is
crime.
crime. So
Right.
they did not deserve to profit
Right.
from all for what you said.
That's correct.
Okay, I just asked the question.
I'm giving
And
you
so
that. Crime is
there's the
crime.
answer. Let's move on.
Crime is crime.
There's the move. There's the answer.
Crime is
There's
crime.
the answer.
Okay, so here we go.
There's the
As
answer.
writing, as you know,
Uh-huh.
has got to be has sometimes changed or altered for the audience, the demographic to make it more popular. Even though black person may have written it, Michael Jackson had to change his words in the part of that song that the Jews particularly did not find likable. They made him change it. It's still black music. It's still Michael Jackson. And recently, you know, the movie that just came out because this is what we should get into in the last couple of minutes here. Fucking playing around with your ass. Got me going. There you go. But this is the reality of nothing but the facts. But hold up. We just saw that Nat Turner. Today is what? The 12th? Today is like the 26th. So Nat Turner has been running for 2 days. Nat Turner had the original, or the biggest, because I don't know if that's the Black Rebellion for you, but the Black Rebellion in Portsmouth, Virginia in 1831. It happened in August, on August 21st. So today is a couple of days after that. As you know, I think it's like the 24th. Nat Turner's been on the run for a few days. When they wrote the Nat Turner movie, it was written by a black man, produced by a black man. Even black people tried to buy it. Because I know that, what's that guy, Allen, he tried to buy it.
Byron Allen.
Byron Allen tried to buy it before Warner Brothers did. So here's a movie written. He changed the ending of the movie. And the reason I bring that up is because what I'm saying, you gotta sometimes bow down to the larger audience. At the end of the Nat Turner movie, the portrayal is Nat Turner turned himself in. Not a fact. And the gentleman who wrote the book, who wrote the screenplay and wrote all this stuff, was a black man who knew that. And he said he had to change the ending for Hollywood. And they do change endings, not just in black movies, but in other movies, like in Departed, which was a real Japanese movie. The bad guy got away in the Japanese movie, but in the American movie, the bad guy got caught because Americans like heroes. There are movies that are changed. They change the script to accommodate the audience that they want to hit. So Nat Turner, at the end of the Nat Turner movie, decided to give himself up after eluding the Union troops for 46 days. That was not a factual statement, but he did change it to make it more palatable for white audiences to understand what he was going through. Because after Nat Turner, the other story that is factual is that there was a black person turned Nat Turner in. So for many years, I thought that it led to the conspiracy that you can't trust black people. Nat Turner had eluded capture for 46 days, and then finally the Union troops captured him. But they captured him because a black man told them where he was. But it's a story from that I learned from Professor James Small, Baba Small, one of my great historian friends, teachers, mentors, all of that good stuff. He said, yes, it was a black person that turned him in, but it was a young black boy who, when Nat Turner he came up with Nat Turner, he asked for 3 biscuits. And the boy went and got the biscuits, and he coming back with the food, got caught by some folks, and they say, yo, where you going? So they said, I'm going to feed this guy, and he went, so they followed him. So even though Nat Turner was conferred over and captured because somebody was he asked for help, and that's the facts. You can look at the picture, you can look at the book. Baba Smalls is unquestionable in historical facts coming from that area. But this is the facts. He didn't turn himself in like they did in the movies. He was captured after eluding the troops and those militias for 46 days because the young man was trying to feed him to help him, who was not aware of the circumstances being a young boy.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
Go with the questions.
One question.
Here we go.
Did they promise?
Oh, here we go. Don't say it.
Little black boy.
Don't say it.
Butter biscuits.
He did not.
That's one. That's
he
one.
did not know that, and
No.
that's the further to the conspiracy.
No. Here we
being
go.
a child,
Right.
As Baba said, it being a child, he could not have understood the
Right.
circumstances of his era.
But later when he joined the Union Army and the tear was coming down his face.
My God!
That's the movie. I'm talking about what else
You're
happened in
talking
the movie.
about
How
a
they
movie that
embellished
was
it in the movie.
That's
how
not
they embellished
facts.
it in the movie. I'm just
Who
saying.
gives himself up after eluding troops for 46 days?
No, wait.
Because of the massacre.
I didn't say that.
The truth is, not the truth, but it's a version.
I just had to. He asked for 3 biscuits.
He asked for help.
Ooh, I know that.
He asked for help.
He didn't ask for a piece of me.
He asked for help.
A piece of pork. I mean, I'm just saying.
This is how we do. This is how we do. This is what happens. This is the level of conceptualization.
I mean, no. Listen, what I'm saying. I mean, it seems
You
plausible.
You make a mockery of it. That's what happens to us.
It seems plausible and factual, but butter biscuits.
I didn't say that.
One.
I didn't say that. I
Not
didn't say butter
two.
biscuits. I said biscuits. It could have been any food item.
Make sure
that's
you
how we
have
want
some
to.
butter on them biscuits.
That's
Number
how
two.
we water it down.
Number 2.
And that's the bottom line. The conceptualization
Number
of a
2.
child trying to help somebody.
What?
And we
What
understand
was so?
that. We take away.
What
from
was
it.
so? What was so devastating to white folks where the ending of the movie would have to be changed from him eluding capture, then being caught by the butter biscuits.
See?
Versus,
But they never said that.
Versus,
See, that's how we are. That's where we are.
Versus, and
Versus
when they caught him, was he
Palatability.
eating the butter biscuits?
See?
I'm done. Number 2.
Move
Number
on.
2. No. Seriously.
I'm not going to take my
No, I'm not making a mockery.
It is.
I'm not making a mockery. I'm not making a mockery.
Whatever it is.
I'm saying this. I'm saying
Here we
to
go.
you.
One more time.
So I'm asking you.
Here we go.
So I'm asking
Okay.
you, why would white folks be upset to say that they were able to discover where he was through this black little boy? Being all serious now. Why would that have to be changed? So explain that to me.
I can ask you the same thing that they would have asked him if he'd have done red carpet with us. Why did you change what you know is the historical ending?
And why do you suppose?
Well, one,
that he did
I'm sure money was an issue. That's one. 2, not understanding the true conceptualization of the facts. Whether it was that he was ambushed, which is what some of the pictures depict of him giving himself up, or whether it was a black man just freeing him up for, as you will make jokes of, food. It could have been any item, food, clothing, shelter. Imagine if you were on the run for 46 days in that environment. But the bottom line is, he changed it knowing what the historical legends and facts were. You'd have to ask the director, because that goes back to your whole black thing.
So if
it's written by the black guy, and it's as black people staying in it, and it's produced by black people, why would he change the story?
As soon as.
Does that not make it a black film?
As soon as they got to the last 15 pages, let's say 25 pages of the script, that would be about the last 25 pages of the script. Once they got to the last 25 pages of the script, they said, we don't like this part about, him being discovered. We need him to be more simple-minded. So we need you to rewrite this and make Nat Turner more simple-minded.
Correct.
To turn himself in, right?
I believe that.
So okay. So for them to do that, that then makes it no longer
a black film,
the black man's movie,
because
the ending is changed and is not integrity. We just sat having lunch we just sat having lunch today, and we were talking to another person, and I was asking somewhat the same question to him about organization, and if money came to you and they asked you to change some things, would you do it?
Right. Okay. So
and the person said
point.
No.
Understood. What's the point?
Okay, so
this person has not.
Once they came to him, he could have said,
right.
But
everybody has a level
if they
of
came
challenge.
right. But if they came to him, then he should have went.
Right.
He should have went to Byron Allen. But he didn't want to go to Byron Allen because he felt. Wait a minute.
That's all Crazy Dee. That's all you.
Speculation.
Way out there.
Once they got to the 25 pages, and they said that he should have said, you know what? It's not about money. It's being about truthful about what happened in this film. I don't go over to Byron Allen where I can get it made totally
Speculation.
true.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, I
I'm
would
saying
have
nothing.
went over and did, but you know why he didn't do it?
Why?
You want to know why
Why?
he didn't automatically
Let's
jump
hear-
with
let's
Byron
hear-
Allen?
let's hear
You want to
this.
know why he didn't?
Why?
Because though black people, individuals, we can see it here in this city, though individuals are trying to move towards the same ending, the same goal, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not trying to go to the same goal. But even though they go to the same goal, they'll say, well, I don't want to team with that person because for some reason they just say, I just don't want to team with that person.
All right,
So he
what-
just said,
what?
so he
What?
went and he said, I will go
You don't
over
know
here,
any of
I
that
will change
feedback.
these
You don't
last
know.
25 pages
don't know that
so that I think that you're going to be able to distribute me further than this black man can who has a multi-billion
What's the
dollar
point,
company.
though, man? What are you
The
trying to
point
say?
is
You
that
don't know if any of that happened.
but
You don't know if
we
any of that happened.
know that Byron Allen came to him first,
No, he
offered
didn't.
him more money.
No,
he offered
wrong.
him more. No,
Right.
he offered him more.
After it was
He
already
offered
done.
them- he
After
offered
it was
them-
already done.
What do you
The
mean?
finished product. He didn't go to him when he was saying he needed it.
You know what?
You're speculating the way out.
No,
the way out,
wait,
man.
no. The story is
Mm-mm.
he went and got funding from different people to make the film. The sale of the film to the studio came afterwards. Byron Allen screened the film.
Screened the film.
And
Done.
so wait, no,
When the
man.
movie's done.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Means
He
the movie's
went.
done.
And, do you know how? Oh, okay. I don't want to ask that. Let's rephrase.
The movie's
When
done.
people do independent film, they go out and get people to hand them money. He didn't go to the studio and say, hand me this money. The studio paid him for the film. It was already finished and they just put their tags on it.
So what
They put their
so
that's what I'm
what?
saying is,
So,
so
and?
Byron Allen screened the film, the studio screened the film,
So?
they offered a price, Byron Allen
And?
offered a larger price. He still went with the studio, and in a way, the film was a great film, but in a way, it serves him right. It serves him
You
right.
didn't make no-
Everything that happened afterwards, how they didn't stand up for him, Byron Allen would have stood up for him. Because the way they didn't stand up for him, how they used
Crazy.
character assassination to try to kill
Hold
the
up.
box office of the film.
Crazy.
In a way, because he had a chance to break the code. He had a chance.
Can I get
He had a chance. The man offered him more money.
Can I get
The
it?
man, for goodness sakes, puts out Sharknado and it makes billions of millions of
Yo,
dollars.
man, you need a puppy break.
Okay?
Oh,
So in a way, he deserved everything he deserved for it to crash and burn like it did in the end. Unfortunately. In a way. And I stand on that. In a way, he does. Unfortunately, I bleed for him because of the fact that he's a black man and he's trying. But when you're sitting up and there's a person who has a perfectly good outlet that can get you out there
Whenever
in
you
the
wanna
same
finish.
amount of theaters as the European American outlet, or now it's European Japanese American European Japanese
Wow.
outlets now, because the film we just saw yesterday had the Chinese, the Mandarin letters, the Cantonese letters, excuse me. So as I was saying on the last film review about how once the shakeup happened, when the hackers released and Japan is starting to move in, you're starting to see American names and you're starting to see the Asian lettering underneath, joint ventures, and you're starting to see more Asians in films. This is what's coming, and I told you that, and that's what we saw with the Muppets movie. I call it a Muppets movie. It's not Muppets, but I'll call it a Muppets movie the other day. This is what's coming down the pipe, and in a way, it serves him right for not being able to break the code. And that's why I say, when there's a perfectly good person that can do this for you, that can have you shine, can have your sound right, can have your picture right, can have you compete with the Europeans and the Japanese and the Caucasian Americans. It can have you compete, but you choose to go with this for lesser money. That lesser money must have been greener, and that ice must have been colder, and that Kool-Aid must have been sweeter. That's all I have to say on that. And that's in a way, because I believe for him, because he's a black man. I believe for him. I believe, my heart bleeds, but it's sewn back up, because in a way, he deserved that, because he could not break the code. He had a chance, and he didn't. And by the standards of the crazy rich Asians, he actually for what it cost to make and what he was making back on it, and what he finished making back on it, well, he's right up there with the crazy Asian film, and they only made $5 million, and he made like $7 million over in the end. What he made, so actually it was a success by what that's a blockbuster, the Crazy Asians, and so should Nat Turner film be. But the media keeps twisting your brains, keeps twisting our brains that what we do doesn't measure up, and so that's what it is. So in the end, in a way, he gets what he deserves. He gets what he deserves. Let me say that without, doing that. I said it 3 times so you can get it.
Well, I don't know where we are. I don't know where we are. I don't know how we got over here, but I guess I'm looking at the clock. We're gonna get up out of here because I don't know where we are. I don't know. I
know it's weird, but like
where
I said, where I come from,
here we go now.
Where we come from, we see us doing with us, for us, and of course, there's nothing perfect, but there are enough people that can join together. Like I said, every time I have advanced, I haven't seen a European American giving me that opportunity.
I can't say that.
When I first came, that you can't say that, I can. When I first came on the college campus, it was an Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity incorporated member.
Come on, man.
I'm telling you, I'm giving you my history. 1906, who came in 1990 when I got down to the college. You heard me spin in the dormitory, so I'm going to get you the icebreaker. After that, the rest is history. After that, it went to my history, which is our history, because it went from AKA to Kappa Alpha Psi to Alpha Kappa Alpha to Delta Sigma Theta to Omega Psi Phi to all these different fraternal organizations, DJing those functions, building up, scraping up, producing music, leading into opening my store. The person who was the landlord gave me the opportunity. I signed a lease, and the rest is history on that. So, and he was a black man who owned the building. And this is what I've seen. So when I see people who don't give each other a chance, and I've seen people give me a chance, and that taught me to always follow through. That's why when people get me to do something, I follow through, and it is done. It doesn't matter how long it takes. When I give my word, it is done, and that's what it is. And so that's what I'm saying. So when I see people like in that situation, in film, in anything, and they do not give each other a chance to do anything, it's disturbing to me. It's disturbing, because that is not where I came up at, where we came up at, period. When I'm talking to I'm talking to my wife Tracy. We did not come up like that, doubting and being skeptical of each other. We just didn't.
All right, we're gonna get out of here because I don't know where we are still. We're going back up. Nothing but the facts.
Where we are is people have to start to truly love themselves and truly work with each other so that we can own and have, so it can't be taken away from us. That's what it's about. Anytime they want to right now, because we own nothing but intellectual property. They can't take our intellectual property unless, like R. Kelly, we sign off our publishing.
I still don't know where we are.
They can't take away our intellectual property. So that's what it is. But other than that, we have to own. We have to own. That's where we are in the future, or we won't have a future. So that's very important. So are we wrapping up? Say your words, and then I'll say my words, and then we'll get out here. But this is very important, to get these points across to you, that we have to own. And when we vote, we have to basically own the candidate. That's the truth. That's the truth. We have to basically own them. And how do you own the candidate? By being the one, the block, the lobbying block, the group that puts money behind them. You own their movements. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's reality. That's what's happening. And if we aren't able to organize and do that, we will be at the bottom of the totem pole. Unfortunate, but that's true. All right,
I'm gonna get out of here because I still don't know where we're going, where we're at, what happened. It's nothing but the facts. It's your man Franklyn G. Men Who Cook, Saturday, October 20th. This is how we're gonna do it. I believe that you got to build coalitions, and I'm willing to do that. So one side says another, one side says this. The bottom line is we try to kick it, and you can always reach out. And yes, we want to make America great again for all Americans. All Americans.
Hello.
So who?
Hello.
But again, we appreciate it. It's nothing but the facts. Your man Franklyn G. Student Verley. Check us out. Check me out on the Breakdown Wednesday nights. Power88LV.com. We're streaming all the time. We got good music. Big shout out to everybody who had a hand in today's show. If we mention you, Nikki, my man LJ, Men Who Cook. We were over at the bistro, so all kind of people. Miss Monica Ford, looking lovely as ever, and Sydney, and who else we see? Angela. Everybody was over there, as they meet with Mr. Smith's group, the gathering, and also saw the assistant. But dialogue is where it at. I just got to figure out where the middle ground is. And as you see, some things get complex. I don't know where they go, so I just try to watch where it is. But Crazy Dee's putting this down. We're on Black TV. I'm sure you'll see this on TV. Write him, tell him what you think. Write me, tell me what you think. Because we see the folks writing in there, but...
Another great show. Okay, thank you. Listen.
All right. There you go. Here
we
go.
Listen.
I don't know where he's going with it.
Here we go.
I don't know where he's going with it.
Just where we come. LordLandFilms.com. You check us out. We're on Fire Stick. We're on Box TV. We're on Black Book TV right here.
Big shout out to Brian.
We're on YouTube on the Cox Cable Contour app. We're on this, we're on that, and it's all black owned when it's filmed, shot, edited, and it does come out. When it's filmed, shot, edited by Crazy Dee, it comes out with top quality sound, top quality picture, and it is finished, and it does come out, and people are proud of it. And always remember this. I've always said that dust is death. People do not remember dust. People very seldom even want to see the Saphir pictures that are a type of coloring pictures from the 20s and 30s.
They don't know what that
is. But I'm telling them to go look it up. I have to expand their mind because I'm looking for that next editor that can go on from me. So I have to put those terms out there to bring the people up. That young kid that's out there listening to this, they can hear it and they'll be the next editor. They say, oh yeah, he told me about that. People don't even want to see that. So they definitely don't want to see dust, and they definitely don't want to hear something that doesn't have the sound quality that makes it.
It's our studio audience, right?
Because years later, when we're all gone, 500 years from now, what remains will be what is crystal clear sound quality and picture wise, and everything else falls by the wayside. So we're here to get people seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated. I'm very serious about this. See, I'm not smiling and laughing. See, when I'm smiling, I'm serious. When I'm not smiling, I am serious as a full cardiac arrest, Michael Jackson cardiac arrest. You know what I'm saying? So that is very serious because that's hard stopping. It's over. So I'm not smiling, not smiling, nothing. This is very serious. We're here to get people seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated. That's what I'm here for. I know that we can do it for us, by us.
I think any help we can get to get it going. So if you want to call me, you don't have to call him. You can call me because the one thing is getting it done. So again, big shout out to Brian. Everything ain't got to be 100% of anything. It's about getting it done. That's my belief. The other side of the couch, you know how we do.
You know how we do. Hey, I got finished product. I got 2 years of product that can go on and be seen, and it's spreading out, and we're spreading people out, and we're spreading messages. And unlike people who censor, I may disagree, but I still put that message out there because there's people who believe. So I will take the other side of the couch and put that message out there too, because I don't censor, because we don't think like a monolith, which is cool.
Not supposed to.
But this is serious business for me. So When you come to me, you know it's gonna get done and it's gonna get out there. And that's it. So that's where we'll leave it. You have been listening and watching another great episode, a very controversial great episode.
No, you're controversial. I'll let you rate. I'll let you go.
It's controversial. Hey,
Hey, he was out there.
Am
Superman.
I black or white? Am I black or white? Am I a controversy? And that's where we'll leave it. You've been watching another great episode,
17.
another controversial episode, number 17.
17. Nothing but the facts.